America is fundamentally a nation of cities. They are the engines of our economy, the centers of our culture, and the homes of our dreams. But today, a chemical weapon is being deployed against the very foundations of these great urban centers. This weapon is fentanyl. It is not just increasing homelessness, it is mutating it, making it chronic, volatile, and most dangerously unsolvable under current policy. The result is a devastating map of despair. Across the country, specific neighborhoods have gone beyond typical urban decay. They have become open-air drug markets, zones of systemic violence, and humanitarian no-man's lands. They are the chemical containment zones where public safety has fully collapsed, and they represent the uncomfortable truth about our national failure. We are launching an investigation into the top 10 most dangerous homeless areas in America. This is not a list designed to sensationalize, it is a map designed to warn. It is a report on the places where fentanyl is actively collapsing civic order, and we will analyze the common thread that links them all. Let's begin our journey on the East Coast, the epicenter of the opioid crisis, and travel across the American landscape. 1. Kensington, Philadelphia, PA. Kensington is ground zero. It is the place where the crisis first mutated into its most terrifying form, the combination of fentanyl and xylazine, or Tranq. The streets here are defined by the physical effects of this drug, massive, debilitating wounds that turn limbs gangrenous. It is a scene of medieval suffering played out in the 21st century. The danger is not just the drug itself, but the lack of public health response. Kensington is a visible failure of government, where police sweeps achieve nothing but moving the death and decay a few blocks over. The city has functionally surrendered this neighborhood to the cartels. 2. Tenderloin District, San Francisco, CA. San Francisco is the wealthy heart of the global tech industry, yet its streets are choked by fentanyl. The Tenderloin steps away from gleaming corporate headquarters, is one of the most visible and dangerous drug markets in the nation. The key failure here is the ideology of pure harm reduction without strong enforcement. While compassion is necessary, critics argue that the permissiveness around public drug use has concentrated the crisis, turning the Tenderloin into a magnet for addicts nationwide, collapsing civic order and crippling small businesses. The streets are a permanent display of the city's moral contradiction. 3. Skid Row, Los Angeles, CA. Skid Row is the historical containment zone of Los Angeles. While the crisis has spread, the 50-block zone remains a dense epicenter of violence, fentanyl use, and chaos. The danger here is the density. Hundreds of bodies packed together in an unsanitary environment fueled by cheap fentanyl and often volatile methamphetamine. The failure of billions of dollars in housing funds has proven that unless the chemical addiction is addressed first, people will continue to choose the deadly freedom of the street over the rules of supportive housing. 4. 3rd Avenue, Seattle, WA. Seattle, another tech hub, faces its own unique crisis concentrated around its downtown core and public transit hubs. The failure here is the collapse of the public realm. Aggressive drug use and associated crime have made large sections of downtown inaccessible to the public. Fentanyl's volatility has scared away both businesses and commuters, accelerating the urban decay. The local government's struggle to find a balance between decriminalization and maintaining public safety has paralyzed effective action, leaving the streets to the chaos. 5. Maricopa County, AZ, Phoenix, Tent City. The Phoenix metro area, specifically areas of South and Central Phoenix, represents the border pipeline crisis. Arizona is a major conduit for fentanyl flowing north from Mexico. This has made the drug supply cheap, potent, and inescapable for the region's growing homeless population. The combination of extreme heat and the drug's potency creates a lethal environment. Deaths from overdose and heat stroke are compounding the crisis, turning areas into deadly makeshift camps where the drug is the only source of false comfort. 6. Downtown Portland, OR. The core of Portland is struggling with a rapid decay fueled by both high housing costs and an overwhelming supply of street drugs. The city's liberal, decentralized approach has left social services overwhelmed and law enforcement feeling powerless. The danger lies in the normalization of antisocial behavior in the city center. Public use, property crime, and the visual evidence of chronic drug use have turned the once vibrant downtown into a ghost town for many businesses and tourists. 7. The Mission District, San Diego, CA. San Diego, another border city, faces the same relentless flow of cheap fentanyl as Phoenix. The crisis is often localized around riverbeds, canyons, and specific trolley stations. The danger here is environmental isolation. Homeless encampments in these remote areas are often breeding grounds for disease and violence cut off from immediate emergency services. The drug's easy accessibility ensures that those who fall into homelessness remain deeply entrenched in addiction. 8. Chicago's West Side areas near Humboldt Park. While fentanyl gets media coverage on the coasts, it has devastated communities across the Midwest. Chicago's West Side has historically struggled with poverty and drug abuse, but the arrival of fentanyl has elevated the death toll exponentially. The danger is the collapse of the community safety net. These areas often lack the political capital and resources of wealthier neighborhoods, leaving them to deal with the overdose crisis with inadequate medical and mental health services. 9. Capitol Hill, Denver, CO. Denver has seen a sharp increase in visible homelessness and fentanyl-related deaths, particularly in and around its parks and public squares. The danger is the rapid spread from downtown to residential areas. The fentanyl crisis has pushed the problem outward, eroding the quality of life in once stable neighborhoods and creating conflict between residents and encampment population. The city's attempts at cleaning up the streets are constantly frustrated by the drug's easy reavailability. 10. Baltimore's Southwest neighborhoods, MD. Baltimore remains one of the cities hardest hit by opioid addiction, and fentanyl has only intensified the devastation. The danger here is the perpetuation of the cycle of incarceration and death. In these highly distressed neighborhoods, fentanyl use is not just an addiction, it is a symptom of generational poverty, lack of opportunity, and failed deindustrialization. The crisis is chronic, deep-seated, and requires massive, integrated economic and medical intervention. The common thread linking these 10 dangerous hotspots from the deserts of Arizona to the urban grit of Philadelphia is not bad weather or lack of affordable housing alone. It is fentanyl. Fentanyl is the fuel. It is the perfect chemical weapon for social collapse. It is cheap, eliminating the economic barrier to addiction. It is potent, ensuring chemical dependency after only a few uses. And it is short-acting, ensuring the user must remain addicted and active to avoid the debilitating withdrawal. The crisis persists because our policy responses are paralyzed by ideology. We argue over whether to prioritize housing first or treatment first. We argue over harm reduction versus enforcement. Meanwhile, the drug keeps flowing, and people keep dying on the sidewalks of our greatest cities. The uncomfortable truth is that these 10 areas, and many others, are not suffering from a homeless crisis. They are suffering from a fentanyl-fueled chemical containment crisis that has trapped a vulnerable population and rendered our traditional social services obsolete. The cities are collapsing because the drug has broken the individual human survival instinct, making the problem unsolvable until the drug's dominance is broken. This is a national emergency, demanding a unified, aggressive, and bipartisan response. We must stop funding the bureaucracy that manages the chaos and start funding the infrastructure that stops the bleeding. That means mandatory, low-barrier treatment centers, psychiatric triage, and fierce disruption of the synthetic drug supply. We must stop normalizing the scenes we have just described. Your silence is consent to the decay. If you found this investigation necessary, if you believe that America must face the truth about its collapsing cities, please like this video, help us push this critical report to the front of the national conversation. And please, subscribe to America's Uncomfortable Truth. We are committed to continuing our documentation of the systemic failures that are costing us our cities and our people. Stay safe, stay informed, and never look away from the truth.